is a silent question that lives inside every human being. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. But it waits, patiently. That question is, who am I, really? In a world filled with distractions, expectations, and constant movement, we rarely take the time to sit with this question. We move from one responsibility to another, from one goal to the next, believing that success, recognition, or achievement will somehow complete us. Yet, even after reaching milestones, something often feels missing. That something is not outside of you. It has never been. It is the connection with yourself. This book is an invitation, not to become someone else, but to rediscover who you already are beneath the noise, the pressure, and the conditioning. You will not find quick answers here, but you will find something more valuable: clarity, awareness, honesty. And perhaps, for the first time, you will begin to truly meet yourself. From a very young age, we are taught how to interact with the world. We learn how to speak, how to behave, how to succeed. But no one really teaches us how to understand ourselves. We become experts in pleasing others, adapting to expectations, fitting into roles. Yet strangers to our own inner world. Think about it. How often do you pause and reflect on your thoughts? Question your emotions? Understand your reactions? Most of us live externally focused lives. We chase validation, approval, and direction from the outside, while neglecting the most important source of guidance, the self. Self-knowledge is not selfish. It is essential, because when you know yourself, you make better decisions, you build healthier relationships, you live with purpose. This book is your guide to exploring that inner world. Not perfectly, not quickly, but honestly. Awareness, awakening the mind. Most people are not truly living, they are reacting. They wake up at a certain time, follow routines, respond to messages, go through responsibilities, and repeat the same cycle every day. From the outside, everything looks normal. But internally, something is missing. There is no pause, no questioning, no awareness. Life becomes a series of automatic reactions. Someone says something, right pointing arrow, you react emotionally. Something goes wrong, right pointing arrow, you feel frustrated. A situation changes, right pointing arrow, you feel lost. But rarely do you stop and ask, why did I react this way? This is what we call unconscious living. You are present physically, but absent mentally. Awareness is the ability to observe yourself without being controlled by what you observe. It means noticing your thoughts without believing all of them, feeling emotions without being overwhelmed, recognizing your behaviors without justifying them. Awareness creates space, a space between stimulus and reaction, thought and belief, emotion and action. In that space lies your freedom. There is a moment in every person's life when awareness begins. It may come after a failure, after heartbreak, after a period of confusion, or even in silence, when something just feels off. You start realizing, something about the way I live isn't right. This realization is powerful. It is uncomfortable, but necessary. Because awareness often begins with discomfort. One of the biggest mistakes people make is judging themselves too quickly. You notice a bad habit, right pointing arrow, you criticize yourself. You feel negative emotions, right pointing arrow, you feel guilty. You make a mistake, right pointing arrow, you label yourself as weak. But judgment blocks awareness. True awareness requires honesty, curiosity, neutrality. Instead of saying, I'm a bad person for feeling this, say, interesting, why do I feel this way? Curiosity opens doors, judgment closes them. Your life is built on patterns. The way you react to stress, the way you communicate, the way you handle failure, the way you deal with emotions. Most of these patterns were created unconsciously. From childhood experiences, past relationships, social conditioning. Awareness helps you see these patterns clearly. And once you see them, you are no longer controlled by them. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools of awareness is right finger pause. Before reacting, pause. Before speaking, pause. Before making a decision, pause. That pause may last 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But in that short moment, something shifts. You move from automatic reaction, right pointing arrow, conscious choice. This is how awareness becomes action. Inside you, there are two parts. The one who experiences thoughts, emotions, reactions. The one who observes. Most people are stuck in the first. But growth begins when you activate the second. The observer does not panic. It does not judge. It simply notices. For example, I notice that I'm feeling angry. I notice that I'm overthinking. This creates distance. And distance creates control. Awareness is not something you practice only in quiet moments. It is something you live every day. In conversations, are you really listening? Or waiting to respond? In challenges, are you reacting emotionally? Or responding consciously? In decisions, are you choosing based on fear? Or based on clarity? Awareness turns ordinary moments into powerful insights. At some point, awareness will show you things you may not like. You may realize, you avoid responsibility, you seek validation too much. You fear failure deeply, you repeat unhealthy patterns. This is not failure, this is clarity, and clarity is the beginning of transformation. Most people avoid this stage, but those who face it, grow. To develop awareness, you don't need big changes. Start small. Practice 1. The check-in. 3 times a day, ask, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? Why? Practice 2. The pause. Before reacting, take 1 deep breath. Practice 3. Observation journal. At the end of the day, write, what triggered me today? How did I react? What could I do differently? When awareness becomes part of your life, you begin to understand yourself deeply, control your reactions, make better decisions, feel more at peace. You stop blaming people, situations, circumstances, and you start taking ownership. That is where real growth begins. Thoughts. The voice inside your mind. From the moment you wake up, your mind begins speaking. Before you even get out of bed, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing this today. What if something goes wrong? This inner voice never truly stops. Even in silence, your mind is active, replaying the past, imagining the future, judging the present. Most people don't notice this constant dialogue. They don't realize that they are not just thinking, they are being controlled by their thoughts. One of the most important realizations in self-awareness is this: you are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go. They change. They contradict each other. They are influenced by emotions, experiences, and environment. If you were your thoughts, you would change every second. But there is a deeper part of you, the observer, that remains constant. When you understand this, something powerful happens. You stop believing every thought automatically. Your thoughts are not random. They are shaped by 1. Past experiences. What you went through in life influences how you think. Example: if you experienced failure, you may think, I'm not capable. 2. Environment. Family, friends, culture, and society shape your beliefs. Example: if you grew up hearing criticism, your mind may repeat it. 3. Fear. Fear creates protective thoughts. Example: don't try, you might fail. 4. Habits. Thinking patterns become automatic over time. Negative thinking can become a habit just like any behavior. Understanding the origin of your thoughts helps you question them. Most people never question their thoughts. They assume, if I think it, it must be true. This leads to self-doubt, anxiety, overthinking, limiting beliefs. For example, thought, I'm not good enough. Reality, this is not a fact. It is a belief, but if repeated often, it feels real. And what feels real influences your actions. Your thoughts create a chain reaction. Thought, right pointing arrow; emotion, right pointing arrow; behavior, right pointing arrow; result. Example: thought, I'm going to fail. Emotion, fear. Behavior, avoid trying. Result, no progress. Right pointing arrow reinforces the thought. This is how people become stuck. Not because of reality, but because of their thinking. Before you change your thoughts, you must notice them. Start observing. What do I think in stressful situations? What do I tell myself when I fail? What thoughts repeat often? You may notice patterns like self-criticism, fear of judgment, worst-case thinking. This awareness is powerful, because once you see the thought, you can question it. Not every thought deserves to be believed. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is there evidence for it? Is there another way to see this situation? Example: thought, everyone is judging me. Question, do I really know that? Or am I assuming? Most of the time, your thoughts are interpretations, not facts. Reframing means changing how you interpret a thought, not by lying to yourself, but by seeing a broader perspective. Example: instead of, I failed, reframe, I learned something important. Instead of, I'm not good enough, reframe, I'm still growing. This small shift changes your emotions, your actions, your confidence. Overthinking is when your mind repeats the same thoughts, analyzes excessively, creates imaginary problems. It often focuses on past mistakes, future fears. But overthinking does not solve problems. It creates more stress. How to handle overthinking? Recognize it. I'm overthinking right now. Ground yourself, focus on your breath or surroundings. Take action. Even small action breaks the cycle. Your mind needs training. Just like your body needs exercise, your mind needs discipline. You can train it too. Focus, stay calm, think clearly. This does not mean controlling every thought. It means choosing which thoughts to engage with. What you consume affects how you think. Social media, conversations, environment, content you watch. If you constantly consume negativity, your thoughts will reflect that. Be intentional about what you listen to, what you read, who you spend time with. Your mind absorbs everything. Practice 1. Thought journal. Write down a negative thought, why you believe it, a more balanced perspective. Practice 2. The pause and label. When a thought appears, say, this is a fear thought. This is a doubt thought. Labeling creates distance. Practice 3. Replace the pattern. Choose one common negative thought and consciously replace it with a healthier one. Emotions, the language of the heart. From a young age, many of us are taught something dangerous: don't cry. Be strong. Control yourself. Without realizing it, we learn to suppress emotions, hide feelings, disconnect from our inner world. As adults, this creates confusion. We feel things, but we don't understand them. We react, but we don't know why. The truth is, emotions are not weaknesses. They are messages. Emotions are internal signals. They are your mind and body's way of communicating something important. Each emotion carries meaning. Anger, right pointing arrow, something feels unfair or violated. Sadness, right pointing arrow, something matters deeply to you. Fear, right pointing arrow, something feels uncertain or risky. Joy, right pointing arrow, something aligns with your values. Emotions are not random. They are information. Most people fall into one of two extremes. 1. Suppression. They ignore emotions. I'm fine. It doesn't matter. But suppressed emotions don't disappear. They accumulate and eventually explode. 2. Overreaction. They are controlled by emotions, reacting impulsively, saying things they regret, making emotional decisions. Both extremes are harmful. The goal is balance. Just like thoughts, emotions need awareness. Start noticing. What am I feeling right now? Where do I feel it in my body? What triggered it? For example, tight chest, right pointing arrow, anxiety. Heavy feeling, right pointing arrow, sadness. Heat in the body, right pointing arrow, anger. Your body often understands emotions before your mind does. Many people only know basic emotional words: happy, sad, angry. But emotions are more complex. Instead of, I feel bad, try to be specific: disappointed, overwhelmed, insecure, frustrated. The more precise you are, the more clarity you gain. Emotions are fast. Reactions are immediate. But awareness creates a space between them. Instead of reacting instantly, pause. Take a breath. Observe the emotion. Ask, do I want to react this way? This small pause can prevent conflict, regret, poor decisions. A trigger is something that creates a strong emotional reaction. Often, triggers are not about the present moment. They are connected to past experiences, unresolved feelings, deep beliefs. Example, someone criticizes you, right pointing arrow, you feel intense anger. But the reaction may come from past rejection, insecurity, fear of not being enough. Understanding triggers helps you respond better. One of the most powerful skills is sitting with your emotions without escaping them. Instead of distracting yourself, avoiding the feeling, reacting immediately, try sitting quietly, breathing slowly, allowing the feeling to exist. At first, this feels uncomfortable. But over time, something changes. You realize emotions rise and then fall. They are temporary. Emotional intelligence means recognizing your emotions, understanding them, managing them, responding wisely. It also includes understanding others. When you develop this skill, your relationships improve, your reactions become calmer, your decisions become clearer. Emotions are meant to be expressed, not suppressed. But expression must be healthy. Instead of yelling, blaming, reacting aggressively, try speaking calmly, explaining how you feel, using I statements. Example, instead of you never listen, say, I feel unheard when I try to explain. This creates understanding instead of conflict. Some emotions are deeper. They come from past pain, unresolved trauma, difficult experiences. Healing takes time. It requires honesty, patience, self-compassion. You cannot rush healing, but you can begin it by acknowledging your pain, allowing yourself to feel, choosing not to ignore it. Thoughts and emotions are connected. Thought, right pointing arrow, emotion. Emotion, right pointing arrow, thought. Example, thought, I'm going to fail. Emotion, anxiety. Then anxiety creates more negative thoughts. Breaking this cycle requires awareness of both. Emotional strength is not about not feeling. It is about feeling deeply but staying grounded. It means you can be sad without losing control, you can be angry without hurting others, you can be afraid without stopping. That is true strength. Practice 1. Emotional check-in. Ask yourself daily, what am I feeling? Why? Practice 2. The 90-second rule. Allow the emotion to exist for 90 seconds without reacting. Practice 3. Write it out. Write your emotions instead of holding them inside. Patterns, breaking the cycle. Have you ever asked yourself, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I end up in the same situations? Why do I repeat the same mistakes? At first, it may feel like bad luck. But when something repeats often, it is not coincidence. It is a pattern. A pattern is a repeated way of thinking, feeling, behaving. It operates automatically. Without awareness, patterns control your life. They shape your decisions, your relationships, your reactions. You may believe you are making choices, but often, you are repeating what you already know. Patterns are built over time. They come from 1. Childhood experiences. Early life shapes how you see the world. If you felt rejected, right-pointing arrow, you may fear abandonment. If you lacked validation, right-pointing arrow, you may seek approval. 2. Beliefs. What you believe becomes your reality. I'm not good enough. People can't be trusted. I always fail. These beliefs create repeated outcomes. 3. Emotional memory. Your body remembers past pain. Even if your mind forgets, your reactions repeat it. 4. Habits. Repeated behaviors become automatic. Over time, they form your identity. Let's look at some common patterns. Relationship patterns. Choosing the wrong partners repeatedly. Fear of commitment or abandonment. Seeking validation instead of connection. Emotional patterns. Reacting with anger. Avoiding difficult conversations. Overthinking everything. Self-sabotage patterns. Starting but not finishing. Procrastinating. Giving up too early. Thought patterns. Negative thinking. Expecting failure. Comparing yourself to others. These patterns can feel like who you are, but they are learned. Patterns feel familiar, and what is familiar feels safe, even if it hurts. That's why people stay in unhealthy relationships, negative thinking, destructive habits. Because it feels known. Breaking patterns feels uncomfortable, because it is unknown. The first step to breaking a pattern is seeing it. Ask yourself, what keeps repeating in my life? What situations feel familiar? What outcomes do I keep experiencing? Then ask the deeper question, what is my role in this pattern? This requires honesty, not blame, but responsibility. Every pattern follows a cycle. Trigger, right-pointing arrow, thought, right-pointing arrow, emotion, right-pointing arrow, reaction, right-pointing arrow, result. Example. Trigger. Someone ignores you. Thought. They don't respect me. Emotion. Anger or insecurity. Reaction. Defensive behavior. Result. Conflict, right-pointing arrow, reinforces belief. Breaking the pattern means interrupting this loop. To break a pattern, you must act differently, even if it feels uncomfortable. Example. Instead of reacting with anger, pause and communicate calmly. Instead of avoiding, face the situation. Instead of negative thinking, challenge the thought. Change feels unnatural at first, but repetition creates new patterns. When you are unaware, patterns control you. When you are aware, you gain choice. You can choose a different reaction, a different decision, a different path. This is where transformation begins. Patterns are linked to identity. If you believe, I am someone who fails, I am not confident, you will act accordingly. To break patterns, you must redefine yourself. Ask, who do I want to become? What behaviors align with that person? Then act accordingly, even before you feel ready. Patterns do not change overnight. They were built over years. So breaking them requires consistency, patience, repetition. You may fall back into old habits, feel frustrated, doubt yourself. This is normal. Progress is not linear. You don't need to change everything at once. Start small. Respond differently once. Choose awareness once. Break the cycle once. Small changes, repeated over time, create transformation. Practice 1. Identify one pattern. Choose one repeating issue in your life. Practice 2. Track the cycle. Write. Trigger, thought, emotion, reaction. Practice 3. Choose a new response. Decide in advance. Right finger, next time, I will respond differently. Growth, becoming your true self. Many people believe that time alone leads to growth. But time does not change you. Experience does not change you. Even pain does not change you. Unless you choose to learn from it. There are people who repeat the same mistakes for years, stay stuck in the same mindset, live the same life in different situations. Growth is not something that happens to you. It is something you choose. Comfort feels safe. Growth feels uncomfortable. Comfort says, stay where you are. Avoid risk. Don't change. Growth says, try something new. Face your fears. Become better. Most people choose comfort. That is why most people stay the same. If you want to grow, you must accept discomfort. Change requires courage. Not loud, dramatic courage. But quiet, consistent courage. The courage to admit your mistakes, face your fears, let go of what no longer serves you, start again. This is not easy, but it is necessary, because growth begins where comfort ends. Many people are not trying to grow. They are trying to appear successful. They focus on image validation, external approval. But true growth is internal. It is not about what people see, what people think. It is about who you are when no one is watching. Ask yourself, am I becoming better, or just trying to look better? Your true self is not something you create. It is something you uncover. Beneath fear, conditioning, expectations, there is a version of you that is honest, authentic, aligned. Growth means removing what is not truly you. Growth is not only about adding. It is also about removing. Let go of limiting beliefs, toxic environments, unhealthy habits, the need for constant approval. Letting go creates space, and in that space, growth happens. Motivation is temporary. Some days you feel inspired. Some days you don't. If you depend on motivation, you will stop. Growth requires consistency. Small actions, repeated daily. Thinking differently, reacting differently, choosing differently. This is how transformation happens. Real growth happens when your identity changes. Instead of saying, I'm trying to be confident, say, I am becoming a confident person. Your identity influences your actions. And your actions reinforce your identity. Choose your identity carefully. Failure is not the opposite of growth. It is part of it. Every mistake teaches, shapes, strengthens. The only real failure is refusing to learn. Instead of asking, why did I fail? Ask, what can I learn? Growth is not a short journey. It is a lifelong process. There is no final version of you. You will evolve, change, discover new parts of yourself. And that is the beauty of it. When you grow, you stop living randomly. You begin to live intentionally. You choose your habits, your thoughts, your actions. Instead of reacting to life, you start creating it. At the core of everything is this, your relationship with yourself. If you understand yourself, respect yourself, trust yourself, your life improves in every area. Because everything starts from within. Daily growth practices. Practice 1. Daily reflection. Ask, what did I learn today? How did I grow? Practice 2. One small improvement. Choose one small action daily. Better decision, better reaction, better habit. Practice 3. Self-check. Ask, am I becoming the person I want to be? That's all folks, hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to see you soon. Have a nice day.